Thank you. So Albert Einstein was teaching a university class, and he had just handed out the final exam. His teacher's assistant came running up to him and said, "Dr. Einstein, I think maybe you made a mistake. Those are the same questions you handed out at the beginning of the term." And Einstein said, "No mistake, they're the same questions, but by now the answers have changed." Sound familiar? You know, how do we grow the business? How do we increase revenue? How do we attract great talent? How do we serve customers? How do we engage employees? All the same questions, but the answers are always in flux. So no wonder Darwin said it's not the strong or the most intelligent that are really going to survive, but the most responsive to change. And by the way, corporate America agrees. They did a recent study at the conference board with 539 global CEOs. So it's not just corporate America, but global corporations and organizations and nonprofits and government agencies. And they ranked the top concerns of these global CEOs, and right at the top was adaptability to change. And that was in Asia, that was in Europe, that was in South America and North America. The only thing that ranked higher was revenue growth. So even though we have been dealing with change forever in our organizations, it isn't going anywhere. It's right here, and it's a pressing issue. We'll just walk through a few of the forces of change. First of all, you've got the economy. You've got a local economy and a global economy, and they are squeezing us. There isn't an organization that I address or work with or have interviewed into that doesn't say, our mantra here is to do more with less. You got it. There certainly is technology. And technology, the Silicon Valley, obviously, you guys are driving much of this kind of change, but someone much more techno-savvy than I put it this way. This is going to be one freaky-deaky 21st century. The amount of technological change in the next 10 years is going to equal that of the entire last century. And we've got customers that are changing, more sophisticated, more demanding. They want better, faster, cheaper everything. And they're wired. You know, in the old days, the good old days, when a customer was dissatisfied, he or she would complain to 7 of their closest friends. Today, if they're dissatisfied, they're on a podcast, they have their own blog, they've got an anti-website, a rogue website up there somewhere, and they are complaining to several 100,000 of their closest networks. So it's a very different setup, much more powerful. And we have competition that looks like it used to, and competition that comes from left field, from an industry we didn't even think was one of our competitors. And of course, we've got increased M&A activity, mergers, alliances on the increase, acquisitions. Now, the interesting thing is sometimes we're a competitor, and sometimes we're an ally, and sometimes we're both at the same time. And then all of a sudden, something happens. Like a few years ago, I got a call from a Silicon Valley company, and the head of human resources said, "Carol, you need to come out here and talk to some of our people." I said, "Okay, why some of your people?" She says, "Well, we've got about 200 people that were just sold off to another organization. We sold off that division. And then we sat around thinking yesterday, you know, all they know about that other company is what we've told them here. And as a competitor, what we told them is they're not as good as we are. They're the enemy." And then they went to sleep last night, and they woke up sleeping with the enemy. Tough. And leadership, particularly with this talent development that we're looking at now to increase our bench strength for the next generation. We're moving people around organizations even more than ever. So the idea of whole leadership teams leaving for various reasons, or your boss being replaced, or you moving to another part of the organization where you get a new leader is very much on the rise.